I've been playing Genshin Impact since 2020. Yeah, back in COVID days. Back then, the game was fun and like an escape from reality with everything going on. But now, I genuinely hate this game and can't even bring myself to play it anymore. And I'm gonna tell you why in this video. One thing I want to talk about before I get into moral issues are the technical issues. And the biggest technical issue I can think of is the power system in this game. It is so trash. In the beginning of this game, it wasn't really a problem because there was less characters. Now it is. Every character follows the same pattern. They're hyped up, oh my goodness, look at this new amazing character with this amazing kit. And then boom, another character comes and they're just bigger and better than the last. It's like the game developers want to be Dragon Ball Z so bad. The power system is actual trash. It completely diminishes the lore, because if every character is just bigger and badder than the last one, then you mean to tell me that this character that's randomly coming out is better than the Archons when the Archons are supposed to be the most powerful, etc, etc. When you make characters like this, it diminishes the lore and no one really pays attention to it anymore, because why does it matter if this new random 4-star is gonna have a better power scale than someone else? It doesn't even make any sense. It completely diminishes the lore and takes away the immersion a little bit, because it kind of makes some people feel like they're just playing for the new biggest baddest character. I feel like this was never really an issue when it came to Mondstadt and even Liyue, but when we started to get to Inazuma and especially Fontaine and on up, the power system just got so much worse. I remember the days when everybody was trying to get their hands on Venti because he was so amazing, because he actually felt like an Archon, and Zhongli actually felt like an Archon. But as we got up, and even Raiden, she felt like an Archon. But as we get up, it's every character either seems equal, or just a new character will come and knock them out of the park anyway, so why does it matter? And let me say that I don't even care when it comes to 4 stars and even some 5 stars. I truly just feel like Archons should not be able to be power crept. That makes no sense at all, and it just completely disregards the lore. What's the point of having it? So yeah, that's the first technical issue that I wanted to talk about. And now I'm gonna move on to another technical issue that I wanted to talk about, which is the time management in this game is absolutely horrible. I did not look this up, but I believe that the first Archon quest was probably less than 2 hours. Why are the quests now 18 hours long? It's actually a problem. Excuse the sideways footage, it'll fix in a minute. But as I was saying, my sister, who still plays Genshin, not avidly at all. She only plays when she wants a new character because they're so shiny and amazing, which goes back into my last point. But she literally was on a Natlin quest for 2 days straight, and I'm not even exaggerating, and she wasn't even being immersed in the quest. She was literally just skipping, trying to go and do the necessary things to continue with the quest, and it literally took her 2 days. It literally took her 2 days. Just on the game for literal hours doing this same quest, not indulging in it or anything like that. And almost everybody I know who plays Genshin skips the quest, because I don't think anybody is even interested anymore. It just feels like you just have to do these things to progress. What? Oh my goodness, Marsh, you speak English. To progress. Oh my goodness.
What?
As I was saying, to progress through the storyline, which honestly just feels like mumbo jumbo now, because I remember when Genshin used to be about finding your sister. Now it's just a whole mess. I don't even know. I haven't touched Genshin for a long time. I think I stopped playing around peak Inazuma, and that's when Genshin peaked. Ever since in Fontaine, I heard Fontaine was pretty good. I've never played it, but yeah. I feel like the whole point of games are for them to be an escape from reality, or something that makes people very comfortable and have fun. But when I see these people playing Genshin, I don't see anybody having fun. We're always either complaining, which is why people have called us Complain Impact, which our complaints don't really mean anything because they never get fixed. I mean, seeing my sister on the game for that long, literally just pressing X just to skip, Like, it really just made me realize, like, no one's interested in these quests anymore. And of course, I'm only talking about the people that I know and myself, not people who genuinely enjoy the quest. But I've only seen people actually sit through the quest when they're doing videos about them, like Bwop. Shout out Bwop, love Bwop. But I feel like no one should just be playing a game and just trying to rush through it to get like a character. Like, that's what it feels like Genshin is now. It's just people trying to get characters, and like that's one part of the game, but I feel like the game is lacking in every other area because of that, because they put so much emphasis on the characters and everything else just feels like a chore that's necessary to get characters. My whole point of this segment is to say that I feel like Genshin is supposed to be a game where the lore and the characters are hand in hand, and people should want to play the game for both. But it feels like people only want to play the game for characters, and I feel like that's for valid reason, because Hoyoverse, I don't even care anymore. Like, oh my goodness. Because the company prioritizes the characters over everything else. So why should the player not do the same? The point of video games is for it to be like an escape, for something that you want to do. But Genshin is starting to feel like a chore playing it and not something to enjoy. It feels like you're just working every day to get a character that's going to help you work even more to get another character. The quest should be fun, they should be immersive, not just a bunch of hullabaloo. That's kind of what they feel like now. I'm just hearing more and more plot points introduced and stuff like that. When we started off, we're just looking for our sister. We're looking for our sister or our brother. Like, oh my goodness. My next part is one of the most prevalent issues ever since Genshin started going into new regions. If you didn't know, there's, I believe, 7 regions in the world of Genshin, and each one is supposed to represent a different, like, continent or, like, you know, something like that in the real world. So for example, Mondstadt is like Europe, obviously Liyue is like China, and Inazuma is Japan, etc, etc. And of course, people in those regions have paler skin. However, for a game that literally the whole point of this game is for it to be ethnically diverse, because you have these places that are supposed to represent different places of different ethnicities, there's no black people. There's like, of course there's black characters, because of course they want that, they want to profit off of the idea of diversity, but they don't actually have black characters. There's jokes that like the brown characters are actually gray, which is true, because it seems like the artists on Genshin's team just don't know how to color dark skin, and it's kind of like they're allergic to it. And it's actually kind of crazy considering the whole point of this game. You profit off of the idea of this game being diverse. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me show you. Natlan is supposed to be based off of Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and Oceania. These are people from those regions. And these are characters from Natlan. Does this look like representation? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like the closest thing to being a culture vulture. Your game is based off of these regions that we go to that are supposed to be ethnically diverse, and you have characters that wear clothes that are supposed to give off the vibe of this ethnicity, or are supposed to give off the vibe of this place, but the character themselves just looks like you put a white or Japanese person in some ethnically diverse clothes. It makes no sense at all. It's actually quite disrespectful. A lot of people say that fans who complain about this aspect of the game are just being irritating and annoying and are complaining too much, when I find that quite ridiculous to say, because why are you mad that people are upset that they're not getting the representation that they were promised? Actually promised, because once again, your whole point of your game is that we're going to different regions that are based off of places where people of different ethnicities live. So I would expect the characters to have those different ethnicities. This is one of the most prevalent issues in the game. I think everybody who complains about Genshin has complained about this, and it's very valid criticism. Even the characters who are a darker tone are not toned correctly. Like, we have a joke that they're toned gray, and that is so true because they are gray. There have been literal color swatches. Look them up. It's actually quite entertaining and ridiculous to see that, like, we're being robbed constantly, and it's actually ridiculous because it's not hard at all to make darker tone characters. They have very talented artists on their team, and I know these people can draw darker tones, and if they can't, then that's even more embarrassing. My next and last issue is one of the most prevalent ones out of all of them, and it's creeps. And when I say creeps, you may be thinking I'm talking about the fandom, which yes and no, but it's more so about how the game and the company themselves eggs on those creeps. Yesterday, while my sister was, playing the game for 12 hours, she mentioned something that I thought about. Why are none of the chibi characters, the little tiny models, male? None of them are men. None of them. They're all little girls. And you see, by itself, there's nothing wrong with that. However, they're not children. They're made to look like children, but they're 6,000 years old, etc., etc. And we all know how that goes. I just find it weird that all of the childlike characters in a game that's made by a company who also has another game that is essentially promoting weird behaviors towards children are all female. And this is not a coincidence. This Hoyoverse actively sexualizes minors. You could do your research about other games they've created and other projects that they've been on that actively feature weird art about minors, and it's actually ridiculous how we continue to play a game that does this. For example, there's tiny little things that some people don't see, but for example, in Nahida is a perfect example of this. She's just prime lollybae. If you search her name into anything, specifically TikTok or other sites, you will find actual disgusting things, and that's because that's what her character is actually made for, and Hoyoverse knows what they're doing. For example, in Nahida's character trailer, her feet are shown a weird amount of times, and it's to the point where it's not a coincidence, and we just know there's some weirdos in Hoyoverse. And once again, everything is about intention. For example, there would be nothing wrong with having these tiny childlike models, childlike characters, if they were actually children, but they're not. They're meant to look like children, but you have the cop out, oh, well, she's actually 500 years old. No, it's wrong, and they know it's wrong. And a lot of people like to say, well, it's not the game, it's the fandom. These people intentionally create characters for the fandom. They're egging on the fandom. I don't know how to put it. They're egging on the fandom. They are instigating this type of behavior, and they know what they're doing. There's no excuses for them. And the people who make excuses are probably the people who are either ignorant or very well aware. In conclusion, characters like Klee, who are actual children, act like children, look like children, those characters are fine. That means that when it comes to certain ways that things you may see online or certain content that people make about them, that's intentionally, that is just that person who posted that video, that is their fault. However, when it comes to Nahida, when it's made, that character is made to cater to these type of people, then it's a fault on both sides. This is an incredibly harmful issue, and it's not something that can just be overlooked. It's actually a very prevalent problem that needs to be dealt with. It's nothing that you can just skip over, and a lot of people do that. If an issue doesn't relate to them, they just don't care about it. They'll continue to play the game, and I feel like, okay, play the game, but be aware of these issues and don't actively support MiHoYo. Please don't buy promo gems. Don't do things like that. You can play the game and enjoy it. If you enjoy it, I don't see how you enjoy it, because oh my goodness, I hate playing this game now. The art conquests are way too long for me to even do, and it just feels like I'm slaving away for a character to be able to get another character, But yeah, those are my 4 reasons why I think Genshin is trash, and it's been trash ever since Inazuma. I think Genshin peaked with Inazuma, but that's just my opinion. This is just me ranting. Of course, if you disagree with anything I said, put it down in the comments below. Feel free to argue with me. I love arguing. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm about to hit 500, so thank you very much for that, and have a really nice day. Marsh is out.